Well, welcome back to That's One of My Favorites, a podcast about movie musicals starring me, Samara.
And I'm Emily.
Yay! And we are doing Evita this week. And I don't know. I know it's not great, but for some reason, the chokehold that this musical has on me is...
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was definitely a step up from last week, or last episode, rather. I mean, I liked it. I was surprised that I knew more songs than I did, because I was like, I know that song. Why do I know that song? So, I mean, and it was good. There were some times where I'm like, I am so hella confused right now.
Yep.
But at other times, I was like, this is interesting, and it actually made me so interested that I did a deep dive into the actual Eva Peron.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know how I stumbled across this movie. I think my mom watched it with me once at the library, and then this was like my go-to, like this and Cats, and there were a couple other videos that were like, oh, there's nothing to watch, I'll pick one of these. And I'm like 10 years old watching Evita on repeat over and over again. Like just having myself a time. So I love it. But I will say,
Cat is your Evita.
Yes. And it's so weird what we catch a hold of. But I will say, and I talked to you a little bit about it, I think that the chokehold was definitely Antonio Banderas. Because you're talking about, you did a deep dive on Eva Peron. I deep dove into Antonio's business, man. Like and then Daniel came up and was like, is that Antonio Banderas? And I was like, pause. Yes. Did you know that this man, like,
You're going to lose it when I say this, but the only thing I hear is Puss in Boots when he starts talking.
Oh my gosh. It's the dad from Spy Kids for me. And Chi. His name is Chi. But anyway.
And we'll get to that later, because I was confused all to heck until I had to Google what character is Antonio Banderas, because they never say it.
No,
and so he's everywhere, and I'm so confused.
We clearly have feelings because we have just immediately ranted. This is what we normally do when we talk. We try to center it in, but we're not good at that.
We're centered.
We're talking about the 1996 movie Evita, starring Madonna herself, Antonio Banderas, and Elizabeth Swann's dad, Governor Swann.
Yeah. I had to Google who he was, because I was like, why do I know him? Why does he look so familiar? And I just needed him to put on that white wig, and I would have known exactly who he was.
Yep. And two different characters.
Yep.
Based on the 1978 musical of the same name by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, which I did not know until you said something about it last time. And I was like, of course it's Andrew Lloyd Webber. It sounds just like Andrew Lloyd Webber.
It sounds a lot more on the side of Phantom of the Opera, which I know you also haven't seen.
Yeah.
And is a hard left from Cats and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber did Jesus Christ Superstar? Okay. Well, okay. What? Okay. Anyway.
Let me verify that, but I'm pretty sure.
Because that was like the first Jesus Christ Superstar movie was in like 62 or something, like 78. Oh, well, 78.
Yeah. Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice.
Okay, anyway. So the first thing I want to say is we almost got completely different movies. If you looked at who was supposed to be in this movie,
oh
my gosh. Okay, so first of all, I feel like we were super robbed because Mandy Patinkin originated the role on Broadway as Chi.
Uh-huh.
And Patti LuPone originated as Evita. And they wanted them to come in, but then something happened to where they couldn't. So then they had not Meg Ryan. Michelle Pfeiffer was going to be Eva. And she actually started taking voice lessons and stuff. But Madonna wrote a letter basically pleading to the director that she should be in this movie, that she should be Madonna, or she should be Evita Peron. Like, and that's how she got into this movie.
I do know that she did extensive vocal training to prepare for this role.
With Patti LuPone's vocal coach.
Oh. I thought you were about to say with Patti LuPone. I was about to be like,
no. So I don't know how true this is, but I also have that Patti LuPone, when asked what she thought about the movie, she said she never watched it. She had no interest in watching it, but she heard the soundtrack and was not impressed.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, Patti. Whew.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, I can hear bits of Madonna, and I apologize if you can hear my dog barking, but I can hear bits of Madonna, but if you told me that was Madonna, I'd be like, really? Is it? Are you sure? Because it really doesn't sound like her stuff at all.
I don't know what it sounds like, but to me, Madonna is the weak link in this movie.
I would agree.
She is the, like, if I had to rank everybody in singing or in acting in this movie, she is at the bottom. Other people that were considered for this part: Jennifer Lopez, which she can't even sing in the first place. She uses Ashanti. Anyway, Mariah Carey, Gloria Estefan, Zaza Gabor. They wanted Barbra Streisand, but she turned them down, which that would have been really odd.
Given yes, she can sing, but I don't think she could come off as like an Argentinian.
Mm-mm.
Like,
no. I don't know who this is or how to pronounce her name, so I'm not going to. Carla DeVito, Bette Midler, and Sarah Brightman.
I'm trying to think of Bette Midler in this era, if she would even fit in.
I'm thinking
she's in the same thing as
Gypsy, or is this later than Gypsy? This is Gypsy.
Okay. She would definitely fit in better than Babs.
Sarah Brightman, I only know her as a soprano. So I'm like, where would she? Swayze was also considered for Chi. And I'm like, can Patrick Swayze sing? But he's also not Argentinian, or... So we would have had a really different movie. I'm really upset that we were robbed of Mandy Patinkin, though, because I love him very much. But we got Antonio Banderas, so it's like...
It's okay. I'll trade it out.
Anyway, so we would have had a crazy different movie, but Madonna begged for this role. Antonio Banderas also apparently performed the musical in front of the guy at dinner one day in order to get his part.
Huh. Why can I see that? I can totally see that happening.
He seems like he's really cool. Again, I went on a 3-hour deep dive of Antonio Banderas. And I didn't realize that Madonna is the one who brought him into Hollywood, actually.
Well, good.
And he got arrested in his home country for doing art and theater, in parks and stuff, 6 times. Madonna brought him over. He was learning his lines phonetically. He did not speak English very well, if at all. I think at this point he might have, but when he got his first breakout role, he learned all his lines phonetically. And then this was only his 5th or 4th role. So, he's phenomenal. I love him. But definitely watching from not that lens of 11-year-old, 10-year-old girl obsessing over Antonio Banderas, it's still, it takes all the edge off a little bit.
I definitely like Antonio Banderas, and I don't know if it was because the entire time I'm like, who the heck is he and why is he everywhere? Until in the middle of the movie, I finally Googled who he's supposed to be, which he's loosely
the narrator,
a character named Chi, which is based off of a real person, and I can't think of his name. But that person that he's based off of in Evita never met in real life. But he's just the narrator, and it almost feels like her conscience.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get into it, but I'm like, can we see him? Are we as the audience the only people who can see him?
Yeah.
Because the only other thing I want to say about Antonio Banderas is that he only has 2 onstage musical credits. One as Guido in 9, which I think I put on here. I didn't realize it was a Broadway show. But I was like, where's that slime tutorial? Because yes. I just think he needs to sing more and do more, and I love him. So, into the movie. So this movie plays with time. I don't know why I said like I had already said the information. It opens on Eva Peron's death.
Yes, which I was already like, what, who, why, huh? If it didn't have the place and time, I'd be like, what's happening?
It jumps around with time in this movie a ton, and it doesn't really explain itself. I would love to see this on stage.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if this was added for the film or how you would portray this so quickly, because it opens to the movie theater and you see Antonio and he announces that she's dying or she's dead and everybody's upset. Mm-hmm. And then it immediately jumps into a funeral where you see a woman who you find out is the mistress is dragging a handful of children into this funeral, and you find out that she's the mistress. These are his kids that are not his kids, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And Evita is one of those kids, and she runs in and she's like, "My papa!" Oh no, it's very upsetting. It's a very upsetting scene. I'm like, if this wasn't included, why are we including it?
It sets the scene that she's illegitimate and of the lower class.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, because it definitely jumps from like 1952 when she passed away to 1926 to her father's passing. Mm-hmm. Is what the little thing at the bottom says.
And then it jumps back, and she is the only one who's not mourning. In fact, he's laughing. He's making fun of them for mourning.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why are you mourning?" I love that he says she didn't say much, but she said it loud. Like, he's like, "She didn't do anything."
And she didn't do anything for like years.
And I was like, oh.
That's when I started Googling. I was like,
oh yeah.
Was she really like that hated? And I wrote down.
But hated, but loved.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wrote down the hit musical is based on the life of Evita Peron, a Argentina actress who eventually became the wife of the Argentinian president, Juan Perón. I don't know if I'm saying that Perón correct. And the most beloved and hated woman in Argentina at the same time.
And you learn why, at least. I mean, again, this is a musical. We know this isn't like history. This isn't even Wikipedia, but you learn a lot.
Yeah.
So time jumps back, but also forward. And now she's 15, which I was like, why did you not get anyone other than Madonna to do this part?
Yeah, because the whole time I thought she was like 20s, late 20s at this time.
Nope.
Until I until I found out that she died at 33.
She is 15 at the beginning of this section. From here on out, it is like, and I understand, and Madonna is beautiful. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. She was beautiful at this time. She looked great. Women are allowed to age gracefully. She wasn't 15.
No, and she didn't look 15, so I was confused the entire time.
No. So and the only way you know she's 15 is because her little background people, her friends, her familia, they say something, a girl of only 15. And I was like the breath came out of my lungs.
Yeah, I think I completely missed that because I was shocked when I looked up when Eva died and how old she was. And she was 33. And I was like, then how old was she when she was first
15
moving to Buenos Aires? Yeah.
Yeah. She's 15 and she's sleeping with a traveling, quote unquote, famous music man. he's going home to Buenos Aires. She's like, no, I want to come with you. And he's like, no. Like,
and she was coming whether he wanted to or not.
Right. And I love that her friends, her little like family are like, dude, she's coming. Like, and if she doesn't come, I'm calling the papers and I'm gonna tell them that you're cheating on your wife. Because at this point she doesn't know that he's cheating with the 15. Also, anyway. So she goes to the Big Apple, which also threw me for a huge loop when I was younger. I distinctly remember turning to my mom and being like, why is she going to New York? And then they're still like deeply immersed in this Spanish culture. Like, what's happening? And my mom was like, no, I think they call Buenos Aires the Big Apple. And I was like, what?
Yeah, the song Buenos Aires is another song that I didn't realize that I knew.
Yeah.
And the reason I know it is because it was on Glee.
Oh, God. Jump scare.
It was like an offshoot character that sang it, and she sang it really well.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, so she goes with him, and she keeps being like, I'm here, like, what's up, Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
She's gonna kill it. And he's actually mad that she's, like, dancing with other guys, and, like, he's kind of peed off. But
like,
then she follows him.
You didn't even want her there.
Oh my gosh. And then she follows him to his house and there's his family. And she's like, oh no. So
what am I gonna do now?
Yeah. So then she goes and she's sad and she sings this beautiful song that I guess maybe I could see Sarah Brightman singing this because it is a higher register. I used to sing that all the time. I used to be like, what happens now? Another suitcase, another. Oh. I think, I don't know why. That part is just so beautiful, particularly when Antonio harmonizes with her. I'm like, oh, it's so good. But she, during this song, during this song, you see her go from man to man, and she's just trying to find a bite to eat. The Wikipedia, I believe, oh no, it's Roger Ebert, says this follows a quasi-prostitute. And that's basically what she's doing. She is just gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat.
And each guy that she's sleeping with gets her to a different, like, status in the hierarchy.
Not yet. But you see the pattern start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see it. Oh, no, I get what you're saying because I have the next note is she goes to try for the acting gigs.
Yeah, she starts with the photographer, puts her in the magazine. The magazine thinks she's beautiful. She starts booking radio, TV, stage shows. She starts sleeping with people in the military. That then, like,
goodbye and thank you forever.
Yeah.
That is my other favorite song. And
each time Antonio or Chi, or however you say his name, is like, move along, fellas. She dumped you. Sorry.
Yes.
It's just how it goes sometimes.
I just remember, so he does the sign for the bad, like the big bad word, F-U.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and yeah.
I remember being a kid. I mean, again, I'm watching this as a kid, obsessing over this movie, and my mom just being like, stop. Because, which means, ba-bah! And I was like, yeah! And my mom was like, no! God, stop! Oh my gosh. I have a friend whose kids are obsessed with Hamilton, and they're like in second and first grade. And she texted me one night. She's like, my kid's just like, and I'm the damn fool that shot him. And she's like, I don't know. It's fine. Like,
it's historical, right?
It's fine. It just makes me think of that every single time that I was running around basically being like, screw you to everybody. And I love this part of the movie because the group of men in the background just keeps growing. Like, she is working her way. She is working her way from the bottom.
Candy and flowers.
Yes, poor guys. Yes, and this whole song, when he's mopping that floor, I'm like, I spilled something on my floor, sir. Come help. It's
and again, at this point, I'm like, why are you following her still at this point in the movie?
Yes, yeah. Why are you following her? Does she see you? Does she see him? They interact a little bit, but nobody else really.
They really don't interact until towards the end of the movie when they have incapacitated. Yeah.
Yeah. So the group of men keeps growing. There's suddenly this huge revolution in 43, and Ava's just trying to get into acting, but she can't act. She can't act. But she's sleeping with the right guy. And we see a glimpse of Juan Perón.
Mm-hmm.
And he is in line to become the next dictator, basically, of this country. And then suddenly an earthquake happens, and his PR people flip it and reverse it. And they're like, oh, instead of a dictator, we're gonna take a different approach. We're gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
We're gonna be,
so you can vote, and I say that in air quotes.
We can be helpful.
Yeah.
So they go to this benefit, and that's where he meets Eva Peron.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when he's like,
ditches her date.
Yes, are you here by yourself? Yes. She says it so, yes. Like, so aggressive. Every song that she sings by herself legitimately is my Cheer Up Charlie. I just skip it. I skip this song I'll be good for you. I'm like, girl, click. No. I just don't.
I'm just thinking, like, you're so conniving. Like, she's so like particular about who she goes out with, because she's climbing that social ladder, and then she's finally like, I see the tippy top.
Yep, I'm almost there.
Snatch you.
But here's the thing: she lays it out for him. She's like, "Hey, man, listen. I would look so good on your arm, and like, you need me." And he's like, "All right, sure."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they go to his house, and she lays out her plan. The lights go out. You see a silhouette. Her dress is removed. Oh, scandal. And
she's a savage too, though.
She is.
Because she totally dismissed the other mistress and was like, hello.
Yes.
I just employed you. Or I just unemployed you. Go on your way. I was like, girl, you were just in her shoes like a few years ago.
Yeah, so she says, I've unemployed you. And the girl literally, exactly, she was in Ava's shoes. She goes, what happens now? And she's just like, get out. Don't ask anymore. When I also have for the song, oh no, it's not yet. So the upper class after she kicks out the girl, she starts dating. I didn't even realize they were only dating at this point. Mm-hmm. She starts dating Juan, and the upper class people are like, no, absolutely not. She's not one of us. Mm-hmm. Get out of here. And she starts kind of advocating for the quote unquote people, the workers. She says, you know what? I don't want to be part of the upper class. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be down here with my people, and I'm going to help them. Mm-hmm. And he starts kind of like, okay, sure. Like, whatever, do what you want. He lets her, and I am a feminist, but he lets her off that leash so long. Like, she was in those meetings. She was doing her thing. And I was like, why is she talking to people? Yeah. Like, at what point are you not
almost like a campaign booster, almost. Like, she got the conversation started for him.
Yeah. So
but then again, he also just let her run rampant and do whatever she wanted.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They start kind of working together to be the voice of the people. I have my notes just say, "This is crazy."
I have in all caps, she wants power.
Yes. Juan gets arrested for all their talking about, we need to upend the dictatorship. We need to let the people vote democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes to the radio and she starts going to the air and she's like, he's for the people, he's for the lower class. If not, how could he love me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so lower class. I was the scum of the earth. So he loves you clearly also. Like, and I'm like, what if one of us is sleeping with him and the other are not? Like,
and also at this point, she's no longer lower class. Like, she's left that threshold.
Yeah.
But she still, quote unquote, identifies with them because that was her upbringing.
Yes, absolutely. So he gets let go. And my favorite thing that he does, it's so dumb and it's just so what politicians do. He gets out of jail, he's wearing his suit, but he's like, "Oh, working class, I'm gonna take off my jacket. Now I'm one of you." And I'm like, oh my God.
And he does that a few times.
Yeah, that's his thing. That becomes his thing.
Anytime he goes to work, he takes off his jacket.
And it's like a huge deal. And then the whole time I'm just like, it means nothing. He's wearing a Versace suit. It means nothing.
He is still not one of you.
Oh my gosh. So he gets released from prison. They finally get married. I mean, he owes her that much.
For real.
Honestly.
And I honestly thought her dress would be a lot more immaculate than that, but it was really simple.
A lot of these, apparently you can Google the side-by-sides, but the majority of her costumes were based off of what she actually wore, Eva Peron actually wore.
I think the first time that I was really like was when she was kicking out the other mistress and she had that red outfit with that hat on.
That is my outfit for the end. That is when she kicked that lady out. I was like, you know what, girl, if you look that good, I'd leave too. Like,
yep.
No
fuss, she's out. I get it.
Yep. Like, oh yeah, I see your outfit. Bye.
Yeah.
He doesn't look happy while they're getting married.
No, he doesn't.
Nope, not at all.
Nope. I said that too. I was like, you could smile a little, like.
He looks a little bit, Daddy Swan looks a little bit not happy.
He looks like he knows he's trapped.
Oh gosh, yes.
Like I've been swindled.
He was swindled, yes. So there's more civil unrest.
Uh-huh.
This whole movie, I feel like we're coming to my end of my notes because the majority of this movie is just, and there's unrest. Eva, more unrest.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours of, literally, it's 2 hours of a guitar with people marching and people fighting and people punching people in the face.
Yeah, and then Eva doing something to make them happy again.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay. Happy. So there's more civil unrest. He wins the election. They go to do a speech. He does a speech, but then he's like, "Oh, my wife should also speak," and I'm like, "Hello?"
Because he knows that the public likes her more for whatever reason.
Whenever the public starts hitting that Evita, Evita, like it's so chilling. Like the bumps on my neck just stand up.
Yeah.
Even when they do the Peron, like whatever overlay they use,
it sounds so ominous. Like not.
Yes.
Like it doesn't sound like they're happy. It just sounds like eerie.
Yeah. It really does. I love when they hit that Evita though. I always missed growing up. I always missed that "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" had a double meaning.
Yeah.
I never got that. I always thought she was dead. Which is the second time she sings it.
True. And the first time she sings it, she is dead. Like the first time you hear it at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah. So there's 3 times.
Yeah. So that time she's dead, but the one that everybody hears is the one in the middle after the presidency. And I've heard it like 100 times, and I never realized that it was basically a campaign speech.
Yeah, I always associated it with her dying or knowing she was going to die. Even when she did it in the middle of the speech or in the middle of the campaign, I was always like, because she knows she's going to die, because they kind of glossed over her whole sickness and death, in my opinion.
Well, honestly, I think it's because they didn't really know. They thought she was tired, but we'll get to that in a little bit, because that's after he gets the presidency. But I thought it was because she was dead or dying when I first heard it without the context. But seeing it like where it lives within the musical and the film, I was like confused. And at the same time, I'm like, they know that you're no longer low income, low like poverty level. You're obviously like the tip top rich, because she's like, I know that I'm dressed in to the 9s, 6s, and 7s or whatever she says, but I'm still one of you. At that point, I was like, okay, now I know why she's saying she's all dressed up.
Yeah, so basically she's saying, don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. But what she's saying is, don't cheer for me. Don't call my name. I'm just one of you people. I'm just still and I was like, I'm sitting here like having a revelation, like after watching this movie.
I was honestly like, don't cry for me, Argentina. I thought she died. Like, they're mourning her. But then again, is that foreshadowing?
Is that just Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber being amazing?
I was about to say, I mean, it's like you said, that could be the double meaning there. Don't cry for me. Don't be excited. I'm still one of you. I'm still here for you. I'm still your voice. Then again, at the end of the movie, don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm still with you. I've left a legacy. Like,
this is still my cheer up, Charlie. I just skip it. I'm like, Madonna, begone, girl. But yeah, at this point, everyone also, did you see, this is the first time I noticed them in the background. She brought her little family from the hotel.
Yeah, they were at the wedding too.
Yeah, yes, true. I was like, that makes sense. I mean, you came to my wedding in Virginia and I came to your wedding in Tennessee. So like in my brain, I was like, they just visited. She gave them jobs. She like drugged them with her. Yeah. Good for her. Good for her.
She pulled them up in life too.
But at this point, everybody is like, oh, she has way too much power.
Oh, like,
you can see it on the background's characters' faces. You can see it on Juan's face. Like, they are just, oops, we might have not done well.
At some point, they're advocating for her to be like the vice president.
And the upper class and the army.
Like, no.
That whole song, they sing a whole song of just being angry about her.
Nasty, to her. Like, calling her all sorts of not nice names.
I know, but what was so funny about that is because, again, you have to think about, like, the context of the time that we're in versus, like, if this is 1996. They're taking showers in their underwear.
Yeah.
And Daniel came up and was like, what is happening? Like, he just looked at me, he was just like, what is going on? And I was like, they're showering. He's like, they're not naked though. Like, what? And I was like, I don't know, but it's 1996. Like, because nowadays they just be like, hello, and you'd be like, oh God. But that cracked me up.
Or it'd be like cut enough to where you can't see anything.
Well, that's why I was like, why are we not even just doing that? Because it made it more weird for me that they were in their underwear. I was like, I don't like what's going on here.
And it was skin tone underwear.
It made me laugh. And it made him, like, he just was like, okay, and just left. So they decide to kind of get rid of her, but also kind of use her as an advantage, and they send her on a tour, on a parade.
On the Rainbow Tour.
Yes, the Rainbow Tour, the Rainbow Parade.
Which she really
Yeah. They decide to send her to all the different countries that they're trying to become friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And the money keeps rolling in. They send her on the parade, and she goes and she gets to England, and England is like the only country that is like, nah, dog.
Well, she also gets sick while she's in England.
Yes, which, like, I mean, I can Google what Eva Peron died from and why she was sick, but in the movie they don't say what she died from or why she was sick. They just say, she's tired. She looks a little sleepy, and I'm like, well, okay. And then it's like, oh, she's dead.
Oh, you're dying. Next scene, dead. Like,
oh yeah. So she gets tired. She comes back, and then the money starts rolling in.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
embezzlement.
By the way, oh god, did you see the Tony's performance of this with Ricky Martin?
No.
Okay. Oh my god, it was so good. Go look, because I was comparing everybody. Whoever I could find singing songs, I was looking it up, like Patti LuPone, and I wanted to find Mandy Patinkin, couldn't find him anywhere.
I'll have to look that up.
Ricky Martin, this was either right when they right before they shut down for COVID or right after they opened back up. They opened up Evita. And I think it was the first, if I'm not, I may not want to say that.
Is this the song where they're talking about her foundation?
Yes. I believe the woman who just opened or redid Evita when they came back, is the first actual Argentinian woman to play Eva Peron. But Ricky Martin does it. I tried to get there. I tried to get to Ricky Martin to see it because I also love Ricky Martin a lot. But I never got there. But you can watch it. I think they did it for the Tonys. It was
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Yes. So they do this song and they start talking about the foundation. And this made me laugh because, again, at the beginning, she is like, why are y'all crying for her? She ain't do nothing for you.
Yeah.
So she develops a lottery system
where
you write down your wish, which I don't know what your wish could have been if there were parameters, if there weren't parameters. But you wrote down your wish, and then you threw it in the air, and you hope that she caught your wish so she could fulfill it. Okay, great. Thank you.
Right. And she's getting money from like taxes, levies, businesses, unions, and giving some back, but also keeping some for herself.
Oh yeah,
in she's that little bank of hers.
Washing that money for sure. Laundering.
Yeah.
But it's that song is so good. You find out that that's what her foundation is. And the whole time they're also like, they're doing stuff, but it's very showy. It's very showy stuff. Like they were giving all the girls shoes, and I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Are the girls hungry? They're giving these boys new soccer balls. That's great. Did the boys have roofs over their head? Like, it's always just what looks good on the camera, and you start to kind of get that picture during this song of like.
And when she was handing out food, it was like a loaf of bread and something else, and there was always like a photo op.
Yes,
and she was always dressed to the absolute nines.
Well, I didn't like the outfits, but sure. I mean, compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
The time in the country and where she's at, like she's got the best dress stuff that she could possibly have on while handing out food or while doing some form of charity. And it was always like, look, a starving child.
Yes.
I'm going to smile for the camera.
And this is also like where I think she actually voices, I want to be the vice president. Like, and that sparks more revolt. Again, we're almost done with my notes. This is the shortest episode, and I think this is like the second longest movie we've watched. Because it's just fighting with crazy guitar, and we're screaming. So there's more revolution. Yeah. And they tried it. All the people in his cabinet are like, hey, you've gotta like stop. You've got to stop her.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and each time you see like the revolt scene, it almost seems like it's getting exponentially more violent.
Yes.
And see more people who don't like Eva, and they start painting over her posters. And then she's like, I'm going to reverse this and try to do some PR work and then go do something for the people. So I put a Band-Aid over it for a little bit. So it looks like I'm doing something. But
I'm not.
Am I really?
Yes. And it oh my gosh. It's not good.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It gets more and more violent. You actually start seeing blood. Like, you actually start seeing people getting hurt.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, she's actually killing it, though. Like, she's doing a great job. Like, all his people are like, you've got to stop her. Like, she's doing too much. And they're like, nah, she's good. They love her. And then the workers strike because nothing is happening that they promised would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not. They were told that they were being part of this, and they're finally realizing, like, hey, we are getting soccer balls. We're getting shoes. We're not getting good things. So the workers strike, and there's a huge revolt.
Yeah.
And then it becomes clear that she is sick. Like, she passes out.
What? And in my notes, I honestly thought, because it was very prominent that they were painting X's over her posters, and unemployment was soaring. There was an actual fight, and then all of a sudden there's pomp and circumstance of her going into the church to get communion. I thought somehow she was poisoned.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, I was like, is she poisoned? This was before I Googled how she died.
Because they don't tell you.
At this point, I was like, how did Eva Peron die? And it was like cervical cancer. And I was like, so she's not poisoned. She just collapses.
And you don't know why she died. I was always under the impression, and again, Google is a thing, but I was under the impression that she had like maybe a miscarriage because she grabs her womb when she falls, and right before her dance with her and Chi, and they have that like inner monologue. I thought maybe she had like a miscarriage, or she died in childbirth, or went septic due to that. So I wasn't sure what it was, but it ended up being cervical cancer.
Yeah. Which might be why she grabbed her abdomen area.
Yeah, she grabbed that area, and I was like, are you pregante? Like, what?
Yeah. It leaves a lot to be like imagined, like what happened. And I mean, the first thing that popped in my head was kind of like, does she have some form of cancer? Because she's still young. Like, she doesn't look like she's supposed to be 33. I don't know what it is, but with her like like blonde hair versus the brunette, which given, yes, she does look like what Eva Peron looked like in that time, like she did when she was, but I did not think she looked 33.
No.
So the whole time I'm thinking she died in her 50s. No.
Yeah, I definitely, and I don't remember exactly how old Madonna was when this was going on. I don't remember. I think I want to say she was like 34, 30. She was 30 something, because I looked up kind of all the actresses and like how old they were at the time. And I think even Patti LuPone would have been.
She was 38.
Like, oh yeah, so she was 38. So she was, I mean, and she doesn't look bad. She just doesn't look.
I think it's the hair being almost white but blonde. And I don't know if they put darker contacts on her.
Yeah.
Or not, but her eye, I don't know if that just made her seem older. And the makeup that they put on her, she doesn't look in her 30s, and she's in her 30s. She honestly looks like she should be 40 or 50.
Yeah, it's not a good. I just don't like it.
Yeah, and I can put up a side by side of what the pictures that they used of Madonna, like on those posters, and then the real posters of Eva Peron.
Yeah, I think I looked up how old Patti LuPone was. when they were doing this movie. She was born in 49. This movie was in 96. So what was that? 1946. Oh my God. So she would have been 47 when they tried to do this movie with her. So I don't know why we didn't necessarily reach for somebody up and coming.
Yeah.
During because it's not that older women are not allowed to be in things. It's just that like she was supposed to play a 15-year-old to a 30-year-old at what age? You know, you can't. But Madonna is definitely the weak link in this whole movie, in my opinion. And I was watching videos of Patti LuPone singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," and it was so different. The same one. So the end, she sings "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" as she's dying.
Uh-huh.
And Madonna takes an approach, and maybe this is where theater versus television or movies comes in, but Madonna's portrayal is so weak and such she turns when she turns to hug Juan or like fall on Juan, she looks like a little girl. And I was like, that's not Eva.
No.
It's not. This whole time, Eva has been working her way up the ladder, conniving, twisting, and turning. I understand she's sick. She would never have, like, that's not, and Patti LuPone doesn't do that.
Well,
Patti
and even the words of some of the songs is like, I'm not sick. I'm going to keep going. You can't tell me that I'm sick. And they're like, no, you're dying. Physically dying.
Yeah, and Madonna takes this approach that is so weak.
And such the victim. Yeah.
And the victim, and I was like, Eva Peron was not a victim. At least in this portrayal that you have like in this, what you have tried to do, this is not a victim in this moment.
No.
She would have told them, and Patti LuPone does it. It's amazing. She would have told them to stay strong. She knows she's dying. But don't cry. Look at what we did. Like, I hate that last "Don't Cry for Me." I'm just, when she turns to Juan and she's just, I was like, that's not Eva. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And then at this point is when she finds out that Juan actually loved her the entire time.
Yes.
Because he like is not just like, oh, you're sick, I'll let the nurses take care of you. No, he actually waves the nurses off and he's like, I got it. I got you. And she's like, you loved me all the time? Like,
yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, if you knew what he was saying.
He loved you. He let you have that much power and that run amok of the city.
Yeah.
If he didn't, he would try to control you.
Yeah, he deserved a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Because she at least didn't start out loving him, if she ever did.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to the funeral. There's the longest line I've ever seen. I mean, I think, you know how like crazy that this whole like whatever has been is. I totally forgot the Queen died, and they're talking about the coronation, and I'm like, why are they coronated? Like, I was just so lost today. And then I was like, oh wait, yeah, she's gone. But it was like that. Like, the line was so long. It was wrapping around. People were coming in like for miles. This is where again I go, was she a figment? Was she a ghost? Was she some sort of a metaphor? But Juan sees him because he's the only person to crawl up on her casket
and gives it a
kiss. And Juan is like fuming at this guy. Yeah, and I'm like, is he a metaphor for Argentina? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I thought the same thing because that was the first time anybody actually, other than he's in the fight scene and he obviously gets hurt, but that's the first time anybody's ever like fully interacted with him. And he's literally in every scene with Evita. Like, And I don't know whether to call her Eva, Ava, Evita. She goes by all of them.
All of them. Just pick one. Pick one and use it. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I mean, the entire time until I Googled, like, who's he supposed to be, and they say basically he's the narrator, but like you said, you don't know if he's a figment. He almost acts like the conscience, because at some point he's like, hello, you forgot about the people down here, and then all of a sudden she's like, here's this foundation, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I don't even think I knew he had a name until, like, in college.
I didn't know, because I Googled who is Antonio Banderas' character.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he definitely was the strongest. She was definitely the strongest player in this movie. And Ava was the weakest.
And the fact that Madonna won a Golden Globe for Best Actress in this is... I mean, it wasn't bad, but you're right. She definitely was the weakest link of this movie.
I don't know who she paid for that. I'd love to see the other nominees. Because there's really no way that she should have. But
I don't know if people were like, it's Madonna, she's out of her element, and you can tell that she's kind of out of her element. She doesn't sound like Madonna. I think she does sound pretty good in some of the songs. Like, I was impressed with Buenos Aires and the kind of the power that she portrayed behind that song, but her acting was
I think that in songs where she needed to act and she needed to portray something, she didn't do well. Yeah. But Buenos Aires is almost like a Madonna song. It's a very poppy. It's just very like, what's up? Let's go play. Let's woohoo. Like, I think that's really, you don't have to really portray or act anything.
Yeah. It's like, we know she can sing, but her acting is not as powerful as it should have been.
No, I definitely don't think it was. But
obviously she's trying to portray a very powerful, outspoken, take no BS woman.
Yeah. And I think that the material lends itself well to that. I just don't know how much she did that.
That's what I meant. Like, she's trying to portray that type of woman and kind of fell short.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that was us picking up pieces, for sure. I would love to have seen somebody who just walked in the room and you were just like, yep. 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 Like, she has fought and she will fight, and yup. Like, when she's convincing Juan, like, you need me, and they're in the bedroom and she's seducing him, I'm like, he don't really need you. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah. Does he really?
You're not making me feel like we need you. Like, I need to be lured into this, and I'm not feeling very lured.
Yeah. And I found myself the entire time, like, I would pause and I'd be like, okay, let's see here. I'm going to research some of this. And I found that Evita was a champion of women's rights in the lower class, which we portray that. You see her at like a women's rights thing, but they don't really talk much about that. But you do see her, quote unquote, champion for the lower class. She became the first lady and glamour icon at just the age 27. After her death, the support of her husband's pregnancy. I talk or read husband's presidency waned, like his popularity went
because they didn't do anything.
And then I've had to look up, she died of cervical cancer at 33.
That's wild. I still will probably watch this again next year.
It's not a bad musical, and I would probably watch it again. It's just not like my favorite.
I rented it from Amazon, and apparently I don't remember when I rented it, but I turned it on. I was in the middle of the movie, and I was like, wait, what happened?
I rented it from Amazon too, and it's normally what, like $3.99 to rent, and for some reason it was like on
90
sale
cents.
for $1.
Yes.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, sure. It did that for me the other day on something, and it was like normally $4. Today it's $0. I was like, yeah.
That's sweet.
But and then Daniel, he gets the notifications on his phone, so he was like, "What?" Like, he was like, "I'm so confused." I was like, "I was too," but okay. My favorite outfit is definitely the red dress when she kicks the mistress out. That's the only outfit that I like. Her beautiful ball gown. Like, I was like, why is this not a beautiful ball gown? But apparently it's all
hated,
what
like the chest piece that seemed to be connected but not connected, and then the flowy pieces that weren't very. I know. I was the same way. I was like, this could have been jaw dropping, and I mean, I could find the actual dress versus the dress in the movie, and it could be historically accurate, but at the same time, she's supposed to be this glamour icon. That would have been a statement piece.
I feel like, and maybe this has to do, like, maybe we're being classist even because of like Argentina at that time. Because like when I think of like a 50s glamour icon, I'm like Jackie Kennedy. If I saw Jackie Kennedy today, I'd be like, beautiful. Holy crap. I'd wear whatever Jackie Kennedy would wear. Like, I think of certain people and I'm like, yes, absolutely. And then like when I look at Eva, I'm like, really? Okay.
Well, at the same time, like, you know, she's got the money because she's in one song, she's like, put me in everything that is expensive. Like, I want to wear the furs, I want to wear the jewels and all this stuff. So I don't know if it's the fashion back then that we're not really used to or like, but at the same time, I've seen dresses in other countries that could have been like, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And she also is doing that for the benefit of the people, is what she says. I'm dressing this way so that when they look at me, they'll be happy. And you're like, girl.
You're spending all their money while they're starving.
All of their money. Oh my gosh. She's not a good person.
So, like, during that song, I was like, okay, Marie Antoinette, you go about yourself.
Ooh. Let them eat cake. Woo.
Yep.
I also couldn't help but think of the Roxy Andrews in the All Stars. I did it better than Madonna. I was like, yes, you did, honestly, and you did terrible. Also, one of the lines I didn't realize. So one of the lines in the original show referenced Madonna. And I think it means Virgin Mary Madonna, not Madonna Madonna. But they changed that line because they didn't want to be confusing. And I was like, oh, okay.
It would definitely be like Madonna and Child, like Virgin Mary Madonna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I can see where people
laugh.
would be like, Madonna?
See, I think it would have been a cute wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, do you see them do that in a couple movies sometimes where they're like, oh, yeah, and they're talking to, like, Matthew Lillard, and they're like, I love that one show with the dog. What's that? And you're like, because he's Shaggy. Like, I kind of like that, but maybe that's just me.
Maybe this one was too, like, serious for them to be like, Madonna.
It needs some comedy. Like, this movie, it was just a lot of fighting.
It was pretty heavy.
Was so much fighting for no reason.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. My favorite outfit has to be like that reddish dress with her. I love the hat. I don't know why. I feel like that really brought it together. But
apparently she changed outfits 85 times. She had 85 costumes, which was more than the previous record of Cleopatra by Elizabeth Taylor. But I don't feel like I saw 85 articles of clothing from her.
Were 30 of them when she was trying on those different ones in that one song, saying that?
That would be so cheap.
I wouldn't. You're like, this doesn't count, but I felt like they would count that.
Count. No. Yeah. That. Okay. So, I think overall, I'm going to give it a 6 because of Antonio Banderas. Because my man puts his whole heart and soul into this role.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think as far as feel good, it's not a feel good. I'm going to go with like a 4 on the feel good. It's not great.
Yeah, the feel good. I mean, I don't have any like nostalgic ties to it, so I would give it like a 3.
Yeah.
The rating wise, I don't know why I've never felt led to watch Evita, even though I knew some of the songs. It wasn't bad.
No.
But based off of what we've seen in the past, I'd give it like a 5.
Yeah,
4.5.
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like everybody should watch it once.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like you have to watch it, but I remember like one time I said to somebody, they said something about Evita. I was like, I love Evita. And they were like, ew. It was like 2 people. And they were like, we hate that musical. And I was like, what? Like, my mind was blown. Like, I was just like, you hate Evita? Like, but I mean, I kind of can see it's definitely not the best. But it's also not the worst.
I mean, I was going to say, it's not bad.
I don't know how to explain it because it is 2 hours of people fighting over guitars a lot. Like, how do you?
Yeah, and
Madonna's not great.
Yeah, I
don't know. What are we gonna watch next time, you think?
I kind of want one that I've seen before.
Okay.
But also I'd be like really excited if it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like watching the ones that I haven't seen. Yankee Doodle Dandy.
I've never seen this.
Me neither. I don't even know anything about it.
I don't know anything about this. I hope it's
We're going in blind, people.
We're going in blind.
I honestly, until it was on our list, I don't think that I've ever heard that it was a musical. I just think of Yankee Doodle went to town.
Yeah.
Riding on a pony. Is that in it? I don't know. If it's not, it should be.
Better be. If it's not, I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you.
If you have never watched any other episodes, go watch episode 2.
No.
Where we watch
Singing in the Rain. Ruby still walks around going ta ti to ta.
I love it.
She'll just
that makes me so happy.
doing it, and I'm like, okay.
All right, well, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
If you don't know what that is, thank you, humanities in college. Appreciate it. Thank you again for watching us. We are so excited to continue to do this and continue to watch musicals together. It's a lot of fun, whether we've seen it 100 times or whether we're watching it for the first time like we both are next time for Yankee Doodle Dandy, because I have no idea. Nope. But if you have any questions, concerns, want us to watch something, put it on our list, feel free to email us at that'soneofmyfaves@gmail.com. You can watch us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify at That's One of My Favorites podcast. Again, we look forward to seeing you guys next time and going through this unknown together.
The unknown. Oh no, Emily, come back, Emily. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is she never left us through all the bad times, misunderstandings. See, I skipped this song all the time. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Let me pull up the lyrics. Hang on. Don't cry for me, Argentina. By Madonna. Don't disrespect Patty like that. It won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel. That I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me. All you will see is a girl you once knew. Although she's dressed up to the nines at 6s and 7s with you.
Have you been here the entire time? I really hope that was recording. Did it ever stop recording, or did that get her the entire time?
I just thought you were gone, so I thought it was done.
Yes, I'm so glad that was. I don't know why that just kicked me out, and all of a sudden was like, "Where'd Samara go?" Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it says to unmute my microphone. I'm like, it's not muted.
No.
Oh my gosh. You even had your microphone. Your face. Okay, I have no idea what happened. I apologize. It just said, nope, Emily's no longer in this meeting.